From the Watergate building in Washington, this is Hotline TV. Now hear Hotline editors Amy Walter and John Mercurio.
Welcome to Hotline TV, everyone. I'm Nora McAlvanah.
And I'm Amy Walter. Happy primary day, everyone!
Woo!
Yay! Woo! This is my
Pulling out all the stops.
Favorite. All right, well, today we have a two-part show for you. First, there's no crying in baseball or politics. Or is there? The image from yesterday's campaign was Hillary's tearful moment in New Hampshire. Let's roll the clip.
And some people think elections are a game. They think it's like who's up or who's down. It's about our country. It's about our kids' futures. And it's really about all of us together. You know, some of us put ourselves out there and do this against some pretty difficult odds.
All right, so Nora, what do you see in those tears, and how do they relate to what you think is going to happen today in New Hampshire?
Well, you know, this is what I picture the media like. Sorry.
Just
wanting to catch her tears and then test them like in a CSI tube. Like everyone, it just got way too much.
Yeah, a little over the top.
Yeah, definitely.
But it sure seemed to highlight the issue that we seem to keep coming back to, which is, as a female candidate, she could have positioned herself as the change candidate, right? That this was a historic candidacy, regardless of the fact that her last name was Clinton and that she was married to the president, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Why didn't she spend a little more time trying to focus on that?
Well, she had issues branding herself, and I think that when they knew about Obama, it was too late.
It was too late to do that.
I think they had her strategy crafted for years, you know, and that...
Well, and that's what it was. It was a general election.
Right.
Not a primary one aimed at that. All right.
So I wonder if we'll see any Republican tears tonight. Amy, what is your prediction?
Yes. Well, the question is, can Romney survive another loss? He's now setting the expectation bar. Oh, it's a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. Never expected to come in first in both places. He can run a February 5th strategy. Sounds sort of familiar. My big question is, what can John McCain do with his win? Now, does he need to win big? Remember, he won by 19 points in 2000.
Right.
Is a 3-point win big enough to get McCain momentum? You don't think so?
No. I mean, this is a special case for him in New Hampshire. He obviously spent all his time there, spent all his money.
Yeah.
And I think he'll go back to South Carolina and have a little bit of a... He's really vulnerable there.
To the huck.
Yeah. And I think to the same kind of things that held him back in 2000.
Right, immigration, taxes, big issues there. The question in my mind is this:
scandals.
If you are John McCain, and you want to make the case for your candidacy, I mean, he's always been able to argue that he can get independent voters. Right, that's not the question. The question is, can he still win Republican voters? And remember, New Hampshire, the issue of immigration was a big deal too. So if he beats Romney among Republicans, then we can maybe start to question whether or not the immigration thing has really sunk in.
It's going to need to be by a really large margin, though, I think, for McCain momentum to build.
All right.
What about on the Democratic side? What's your prediction? Who wins by?
Well, I think it looks as if Obama's going to win by a good margin. It's just a question of just how significant it becomes. We're starting to hear now from our folks out on the trail in New Hampshire, thanks to all of you covering for the Hotline, that they're actually running out of ballots in many of these places. I mean, I think we're looking at, from listening to everybody who is up in the state, and you saw a lot of this in Iowa too, but the mania right now surrounding Obama is intense. I mean, you hear about traffic jams, people unable to get into these gyms, et cetera. So, I mean, I don't think turnout is going to be a problem. We're talking about 500,000 people turning out. That's twice as many people as turned out last time, which again would fit with Iowa, where you had twice as many people turning out.
And I do agree with what Bill Clinton said. You know, a longer space in between Iowa and New Hampshire could have really benefited. I think that New Hampshire, they would have gotten sick of this media attention and really not so.
Well, there could have been There would have been much more of a focus on Obama specifically. But let me just leave with this point, which is, but wasn't Terry McAuliffe, i.e., a big Hillary Clinton backer, the person who advocated front-loading the primaries?
Yeah.
Yes, he
Very
was.
True.
Interesting. Oh, comes back to kind of.
And I like how, Donna Brazile is like, was totally against it and then was like, this is the best idea ever because Obama had won. But we're also, I think that Edwards is going to be further behind than we think. And I think Richardson I was hearing last week that he was going to drop out if he, didn't register here.
Didn't come in the Final Four.
He's going to hang on now,
he
apparently.
Is going to hang on because he's mad at Bill Clinton.
Yeah, I think that sparked his fire.
Interesting. All right, well, Nora, as much as we'd love to continue this conversation, our time has run out.
Well, good luck everyone tonight, and we will be blogging all night if you're interested, and come on call. The heart and soul of Hotline reporting.
All right, well, we'll see you next time on Hotline TV.